Hi, everybody. Hi, nurses especially. Welcome to the Transform Nursing Facebook Live. I am Nikki, the creative director of Transform Nursing, where real nurses have real conversations that bring real results. And today's topic is nurses don't just stand there, pull up a chair. And I recently did a podcast with a uniquely experienced content strategist, marketing solution provider, and business wellness fanatic, and most importantly, a nurse, Amelia Roberts. She's the owner of Solutions by Amelia and blogger at the Business of Nursing. And she reminded me that nurses need to see their voice as valuable and see themselves as entrepreneurs. Hi, Wilson. Good to see you on. Hi, Kathy. Great to see ya. Wow. Hi from Trinidad. I love it. You beat me to the punch. I was going to ask where are you talking to me from? Thank you so much for sharing. So if you missed that topic, today is nurses don't wait to be invited to the table. Pull up a chair, right? And I recently did a really great podcast with Amelia Roberts at the Business of Nursing. And today what I'm going to do is I'm just going to briefly share with you some highlights of our conversation and where you're going to learn about some of the myths that nurses hold when it comes to what that means to be invited to the table. What kind of table are we talking about here, Nikki? And maybe a few key points about what it takes to be a thought leader as well. Hey there, Christy. Good to see you. Thanks for joining the live today. I appreciate it. So to get the full scoop about this podcast that I had with the great Amelia Roberts, who is a nurse entrepreneur and is doing some really amazing work, please check out the blog and the podcast at transformnursing.com. And I hope that you'll get something great from it. All right. So if we've never met, my mission at Transform Nursing is to train nurses globally to confidently address issues of health policy and equity through the lens of cultural humility. And I do this with a really dynamic leadership approach, which I call an influential leadership style. And I have a course that's called the Nurses Influential Leadership Lab, and that is so on the brink of being here. I'm so excited about it. Working on a webinar, so stay tuned. More is coming from Transform Nursing. I'm just really excited about the work that's happening. But I use a lot of different styles, guys. Like I use coaching, I use innovative models, I use live discussion, I use online and hybrid course, kinds of contents to really pull people in and to invite you to really share with me as well what works for you in terms of leadership and what doesn't. Okay. So how many people want to learn more about leadership just in general and want to be better leaders? I mean, yeah, like that's what this is really all about. So I'm telling you, as a result of really just tapping into your own leadership potential and really doing so by taking a course that really accelerates that, you do get more emotional intelligence, you improve on your own influential leadership skills, and most importantly, you sort of market yourself as more competitive in a really highly competitive healthcare market, right? Like I remember when I started off as a nurse 12, 13 years ago, they hired me on the spot. Does anybody have that experience anymore? Are they hiring nurses on the spot at their jobs? From what I've heard in the past several years, that's really not the case. So you really do want to do things that's going to make you stand out. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what that means today. All right. So if you haven't done so already, please get my free download of the 3-step guide to being an influential nurse leader. You can find that. Thanks for that comment, Christy. You can find that at my website, transformnursing.com, under featured resources. And I am going to put a link here after our session so that you can go and you can download that because it's really rich information, just really highlighting some things that you may not really think about when it comes to leadership. And I want you to have that advantage. Okay. That's what this is really all about. So if you can hear me, hit like. I like my likes and my loves. And if you like what I'm saying, give me a heart, give me a wow. Say something so that I know that you're here with me. Everything here is about engagement and about keeping you pulled and wrapped into this conversation. Okay? So stay here with me. And if you really like what I'm saying, great to see you on, Dodie. Thank you. And if you really like what I'm saying, then share with somebody else, especially if that person's a nurse or involved in healthcare or it's touching you in some way. I want you to share with somebody else. So again, our topic today is nurses, don't wait to be invited to the table, pull up a chair. All right. I love to learn more about my audience. Thank you. So maybe just take a moment and let me know where you guys are tuning in from. I know we have some people here from Trinidad. I know we have some folk from Baltimore. I think we got some folk from Louisiana as well that are tuning in, which is wonderful. Super excited about that. So just so you know, whether you're watching the live or the rebroadcast, I do come back on later and I totally comb through these comments. I love watching them. Hey, mommy's on. I go through these comments. I love to hear what you have to say. I love to hear what you want to know about leadership. I want to know what you want to know about social justice and equity, because that's exactly what I want to be able and be prepared to teach you. All right. So keep coming on, keep watching, keep listening. So are we ready right now to hear about this topic today, about how you can pull up a chair in nursing? Great. Let's do it. So when I say pull up a chair, I mean pull up a chair. All right. But before we can even really venture into what that looks like and what that means, we got to sort of clear the way about some myths that are commonly held when it comes to nurses and that ability to sort of step forward. Okay. So one of the things that I hear oftentimes from nurses when it comes to, hey, I'm not sure if I'm really ready to jump into a conversation about social justice or equity or blank, fill it in, whatever it might be. Sometimes we feel as though we have to be unique or unusual, or we have to have a unique or unusual perspective. Well, that's not really the case, all right? You don't have to have anything unique or unusual about you. You just have to have a passion. You have to have a commitment. You have to have a longing and a drive and a desire to really speak your truth on that subject, okay? Poonam, so good to see you on from Seattle. Okay, we got representation. Hey there. My dad is on too. This is great. So again, those myths is that first, people feel like they have to be unique or unusual. Don't have to be. The second thing is you feel like you need to have permission. Like, I know for the longest time for me, that desire that somebody's got to tell me it's okay or they got to give me the green light is really what was really sort of keeping me from moving forward. But once I realized that I didn't really have to have a green light, I just had to know for me that this was something that I needed to express and share about. I jumped right up and I started talking and I just started bringing that voice out. And it's connected me with more people who want to do the same thing. People who haven't thought about it or have thought a little bit about it. They were like, I just really don't know how to do it. I don't know where to go. Stay tuned. I'm going to plug you in. I'm going to connect you. If that's what you're looking for is how to, I got you on the how to. The third myth is that feeling like you won't sound smart enough or you're just a nurse. I mean, how many people have felt like they are just a nurse, right? I know I've been made to feel like, she's just a nurse. You know, she's just at the bedside. Like her goal is to get those IVs hung, get those medications to those patients, finish her 12-hour shift, give a report, and she goes home. I was stuck in that for a long time, but then I realized that there was something more that I really had to say, and I had to find a way to do that. All right. So just remember that what you have to say is about what you feel is important, and you don't need permission to do that. All right. So here are 3 things that you can do right now to start getting more involved and just pulling up that chair at any table that you want to in healthcare, no matter what that table is. The first thing that you can do is you can find a problem that you love to solve. All right. I really, really like that, because when you have something that you're passionate about, even if it's something that you're not getting direct results from, like right away, you can keep that motivation up, right? You can keep going. And that's so critical, so important to the work that you do, is just to keep moving forward. So find something, a problem that you love to solve. Something you don't even have to be paid for to do it, right? Something you just enjoy doing. The second thing is to get educated about it. So even if you have an interest in something, having an interest is different than having an education. Okay. So an interest is like, that sort of strikes, my fancy, but being educated about it means that you're willing to invest the time that it takes to really learn about it. So if that means you go to networking events, go to them. If that means you're doing research online, do the research online. If that means that you're talking to more people about it, talk to more people about it. That means you're bringing it up, bring it up, okay? So that your voice begins to be the dominant voice that's being heard, because that's kind of how our society works these days. who's ever talking the loudest is who gets heard. So keep squeaking that wheel and keep talking as loud as you can about that issue until you really feel like you're being heard. And the third thing, which I think is so powerful, which was a major highlight with Amelia Roberts, my podcast that you're going to go check out at transformnursing.com. What was really incredible about what she said is that you really have to start polishing up on your social media resume. Who knew one day that people were going to go to LinkedIn first to find out about you online? Okay, before they even let you in the door to hire you, they were going to LinkedIn to find out about you. So what you put on your social media is going to be powerful. If you get recommendations from other people, that's going to be powerful as well. So getting connected right now, having those platforms, building them so that you can become someone that is go-to, so that you're findable. Powerful, okay? Because sometimes the distinction between whether you get hired for a job and somebody else gets hired for a job is the fact that they can find you. And some of that findability is about your credentials, your certifications, and the work that you've done. So taking a leadership course above and beyond what you've already done in nursing school or what you're doing on the floor can be just the distinction that someone needs to find you and say, hey, this is the person that I want to hire, and this is the person that I want to promote, all right? So let me recap those things in case you missed them. What I said is that these are the 3 myths that keep people, especially nurses, from really being able to feel like they can pull up a chair at any table. 1 is they feel like they have to be unique or unusual. Cut, you don't. You just have to be yourself, and you have to have a passion that speaks clearly with a clear message and with confidence, all right? And for me, you know what my passion is. It's social justice, it's health equity, it's cultural humility. This is what I speak so well on because this is what fuels my fire. It gets me up at 4:30 every morning so that I can prepare to be in front of you and say what needs to be said and heard in a way where you can receive it. The second thing that stops people is feeling like they need permission. You don't need permission. Nowadays, when we have all these social media strategies, we have all these platforms, we have people like Amelia Roberts, who is really good at connecting you and getting you onto these platforms so that you can speak your voice to power. There's really no excuse. Don't need permission. You can make your own table too. So who even cares if if you're pulling up a chair, make your own table and make it happen. All right. The third thing is that keeps people from doing this work is feeling like you have to sound smart or just feeling like you're just a nurse. You are just a nurse. You are an amazing nurse. That's exactly what you are. And all nurses are leaders. I firmly believe that. Yes. And the 3 things that you can do to really get yourself out there and to really sort of position yourself if you want to speak your truth to power and if you want to really have more authority and confidence on what you're saying is find the problem that you love to solve and then begin to solve it well. Get educated about that topic, not just interested, which means that you may have to take some time and do some very different things, all right? And then start polishing up your resume on social media, all right? So make sure that you are findable on social media. Make sure that you're on your LinkedIn. Make sure that you have your recommendations. Make sure that people know about what it is that you stand for and what it is that you really, really want to say. Remember, leadership is not for every single person if they're really not ready to step into making it part of their full-time work. So this is sort of your full-time work, is to sort of set yourself apart and make sure that you know what it is that you want to say. So that's what I have to share with you about today's topic was nurses, don't wait to be invited to the table. Pull up a chair. Please go to my website, transformnursing.com, so that you can check out the podcast that I did with Amelia Roberts. She's a nurse entrepreneur. She's a blogger. She writes ebooks. I mean, the woman is incredible. And she's going to share with you in that conversation that we had all about ways that you can stay connected and plugged in and how you can speak your truth and how you can bring value to the work that you do as a nurse. I had so much fun. I'm so glad that you were all here today. Happy Sunday. It's a beautiful day here in Baltimore, and I'm so thankful that everybody tuned in. Please check out my 3-step guide to being a nurse influential leader. That's on my website as well at transformnursing.com under featured resources, and I'll put that in the comment section. Michaela, good to see you on. She's one of my leadership partners in Nurses for Justice Baltimore. So glad to have you. Jessica, good to see you on too, girlfriend. Please let us know where you're tuning in from. So excited that you were here today. This has been incredible. I love that I've got folks that are coming from all over the place. Yes, from Trinidad. I'm loving it. I'm seeing representation. Thanks, everybody. Please leave in the comments. Please leave in the comments some things that you want to learn more about, okay? I ask every time. I'm always interested to know, what do you want to learn about? Leave out what's going on in the world of nursing. Thanks, everybody. I had so much fun. Ta-ta and happy Sunday.